The amount of times that said the N-word after he thought the mic was, oh my God.
Just let him fly. Just hard arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, wow, we're really going down this rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Frank?
Well, like,
These
motherfuckers.
They were really hard R's.
Motherfuckers.
Thick.
That's a perfect Frank.
Okay, that's the one word I can get down. With all of my impressions, it just takes one word. If you get one word, then you can really work out the rest.
Yeah, it's just like Will Smith, bro. You just maybe not Will Smith. Who's somebody that says the hard R? You just say it one time. You can
Tarantino.
There we
Yeah,
Tarantino
he loves the hard R.
Let's see, who else loves a good hard R?
Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen. Joe Rogan, obviously, yeah.
That's his bag.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson probably in traffic.
Oh, I'm sure. I say probably Mel Gibson.
That's an obvious one.
Yeah.
He likes a heavy J too.
Yes. Yeah.
Super big on that.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder how it feels
The
about
W
what
is
all's
for
going
weight.
on.
Yeah. Heavy J. That'd be a great rebrand for Big J Okerson.
Big J, I got an idea for you.
Yeah. Or Ari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New special name.
Yeah. I kind of love the naming of it. Just naming his special Jew, just because he was cashing in on the Kanye controversy.
It was a good special too.
It was.
I kind of realized, like, I mean, I've watched some. I like Ari, and I've watched some of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like how it's like, okay, the name of the show is generally the theme of the show. Like, all these jokes are going to somehow relate back into the name of the show. It's all one big thing. Whereas, like, there's like some artists do like different stories, some do one-liners. Like his, like, it all kind of the Jew special. Everything.
The Jew shoe.
My
The
little
Jew
wooden
pigeonhole.
shoe.
The jujitsu.
The jujitsu. It was like
Jujitsu.
everything related back to
Alright.
his like life as like a Jewish person ethnically, and then there was a little bit of it religiously. You're like, okay, this is kind of cohesive and nice.
Yeah. Well, I love that we're starting off with three white guys talking about a special named Jew.
Did you see the candles though? Nice backdrop.
The production of it spectacular. The presentation phenomenal. I would give it a 8 stars out of David off of 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All the points.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Destination Podcast. You know me by now. You may not know the two gentlemen I'm with here, though. Stephen Hinkle, Tony Wallace, two very hot comics out of Columbus. Hot in terms of their comic standpoint. As far as the actual looks,
Mid.
yeah.
That's
Tony's like upper mid.
Yeah, he's classy.
Yeah,
mid.
B plus.
I would bang.
Yeah.
Would smash.
Oh yeah.
Would tell friends about it too.
Upper mid is how I describe women's ages that I'm currently dating.
You definitely have a type.
I know.
There's something you're into.
Something's up.
Yeah.
Oh, good God.
Part of the reason why I tried to not have Tony on this podcast for a long time, because he's been asking for a long time, is because him and I go after the exact same type of women, and he is much more attractive than me, so he wins every time. And I hate him for it. But no, seriously, two great comics. Tony actually recently a recipient of Best Rookie. Or
one of the rookies of
one
the
rookie
year,
yeah,
according to anonymous polls.
Yeah. And Steve Hinkle, also recipient of the award of quickest tire change.
Got you every time.
Yeah.
In and out. I don't care if we're on the side of the highway. It's
That's
5
it.
minutes.
It's his philosophy with women too, just in and out.
In and out. That's all I need.
Just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Just give me. It's not a whole lot of your time. I don't ask for a
that's
lot.
the one time you don't run the light.
Yeah.
That's the one time
Yeah.
Jiffy Lube's name actually works twice.
I am a classy broad. I tell you what.
Oh yeah. So anyway, gentlemen, I'll go ahead and get all the questions out of the way early. So how long, Tony? I know you've been at it a little less than Steve. Steve, how long have you been doing?
I think March or April will be 3 years. So we're just a hair over 2. We're closing in.
So yeah, you started COVID then?
Right after. Yeah.
Okay. And then Tony, you have an official date on it?
July 15th of 2021.
Okay. So you'll be coming up on 2 years.
Yeah, coming up.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that people can remember, because you're not the only person I know that can remember the exact day they started.
It was like a
February
specific
24th,
thing.
2018.
Yeah, it was
You were just like
springish.
drunk and you just like got up there.
No, it was like post-COVID. The only place that I knew that did it on a Friday was Shrunken at the time. And I was like, well, okay, I'll sign up and do this. But I didn't really like keep track of it. It was like, it was very much like a thing that I had done in the past, like in college, like a few open mics and then like junior high and high school. And then I was like, well, anything ever lets up of this pandemic.
But you were living in Columbus for a minute at that time.
Yeah. When I was going to college here.
So you knew. Because, I was living in Zanesville. And so when you first look up an open mic, you look up Ohio or even Columbus open mics, like it's hard to find. Maybe not as much now with Eventbrite. But when I looked it up, all I found was this one show with Def Goldblum. It was his birthday. He said to roast him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and was that the one I hosted?
I think you did.
Yeah. And because I roasted the shit out of him. There was one, and afterwards I even had to go and be like, I kind of incorporated his girlfriend into it. And I just had to make sure. I was like, hey, I've never met her. Will she be okay with this? And here's the problem, though. I said that after the fact. So I still, I love that I gave it is she going to be okay with this? It's like, dude, you already said it.
It's like, it's in the
out
air.
there. That
now,
toothpaste
man.
is out the tube.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, if she's not, I will apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be courteous, but
Exactly.
I'm still going to say what I want to say.
Yeah. No, she apparently loved it. He loved it too. And then they let me fuck her afterwards.
Wait, are we
that's
leaving
nice.
his name out?
Oh, no. Def Goldblum, episode 16 for those who want to go. Actually, I'm up 16. He's been on the show though.
I was gonna say, didn't you guys write afterwards? You guys did a roast battle and did you at the attic?
Yeah, it was. It was actually promoting that. And then for those that have been on my YouTube and seen the entire roast of me, if you haven't, watch it. It's hilarious. I even bring that up that Def and I were in a roast battle, and then he won 2 votes out of 3, and the winning judge said, and I quote, "Well, it's Pride Month, and Def's pansexual, so I'm gonna have to give it to him." So yeah, once again, straight white man getting victimized.
You know what? Is that affirmative action strikes again?
Exactly.
Every time.
And afterwards, comics were like, dude, whose dick did Def suck to beat you? Not even just people, comics. They were like, dude, whose dick did he suck to beat you? And I was like, he just had to suck a dick.
Yeah,
Any dick.
And that was
That's
the
it.
only requirement.
Yeah.
Was you had to just get one in. See,
Yep.
There you go. That's the benchmark. That's what you have to do next.
Exactly.
If I can just get one in, I'm good.
Right. So yeah, anyone that's experiencing a lull or a standstill in their careers, suck a dick.
I have.
Yeah.
Why do you think he's
Rookie of
bombing?
the year? Rookie of the
Right,
year.
yeah,
That's why.
that's how you get
Not
it right
rookie of the
there.
year. That went to Dayton comic Layla Ingalls.
Yes. Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yep. And so yeah, who was there? Is there a comic that made you want to do stand up? Do you have one specific, or do you just have a couple?
For me, it's Greg Giraldo.
Oh hell yeah!
Mostly because I would watch Friday night stand up on Comedy Central when they still had stand up, and it'd be just half an hour shows. And his he made a joke about a dyslexic lugist, and so he's like, "What are you gonna do? Get lost on the way down? There's no reading involved." But I noticed throughout the whole night, I've been laughing at everyone else's expense, and the one time it had been pointed at me, I remember going, "Oh," and then being well, you have to laugh if you've been laughing at everyone else. And it kind of allowed me to chuckle at myself a little bit, and then from there, I was just obsessed with stand up. And so he was the spark that I was like, I think that'd be really cool to do.
So this is my way of finding out that you are a lugist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love the luge. I can't wait to hit Paris for this. I won't be there for
I think that's the Louvre.
Yeah. Well, no. the Olympics is in Paris. I just found that out, and the Parisians are not pleased. They're like seriously pissed about it.
I thought you were trying to say Persians.
They're pissed.
They're pissed. They're gonna burn all the trash.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna let that one slide.
I should be as like great joke. He's like, how long are we gonna pray for Paris?
Yeah. Tony, same question now.
Dude, I mean, I never really watched stand up, man. Like never. And it's all like humor, like funny shit, but never stand up in particular. And then what actually made me want to do it, it wasn't the comedian, but it was Kill Tony. It was watching Kill Tony. You watch
How masochist of you.
I know. And I do want to kill him now.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the guy to kill Tony.
You and all of Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
But yeah, and seeing that, I'm like, fuck, I want to do it.
I'd say I know comics. Well, pre-COVID, he would actually, it was a touring show, and like a couple of comics actually did get on in the Columbus area and do it. And a couple of them did well, a couple did not. But to their credit, it didn't stop them as much as it should have. But
perseverance is the name of the game.
Yeah. But anyway, that's solid though. And I think also lastly, again, to keep some semblance of order on the show before we get unhinged here, how would you describe your style for those that haven't seen?
I'd say adorably vulgar.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, rock hard.
That's just. I will say gross things, but in a cute way.
No, I don't think I could put mine in such a concise and beautiful way like you did. I don't think I can do that. But I'd say I'm trying to bring light to dark situations, and that's just like in my own life. But at the same time, I make a joke where I'm talking about my dad's dick in my mouth, which is not a fact. But it's a silly, funny thing. So that's it. I mean, I like wordplay.
Yeah. I'll edit out the word "not" in that.
Thank you.
So it'll just be a very hard cut to which is a fact. That's cool. Yeah, I like yours too because mine I finally had to I had it described to me perfectly. Was that you are the wettest dry comedian I've ever seen.
That's well put.
I love it exactly because I have a dry way of writing it, but then the subject matter will sometimes tend to be wet, or I'll be more animated than most dry comics. I like it.
Mine was more described to me because I was like talking to a couple friends and I was like, because I was like trying to write some different stuff and I'm like, I don't know, I just get away with being kind of vulgar.
Yeah,
and it's like it's because the way you go about it. You don't seem malicious about your vulgarity.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, like I think that gave me a little bit of reassurance, but still you're like, I don't know, do I really need to talk about cum this much? Maybe I should dial it back.
Never. You have one joke for every sperm in one load.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That I've ever dropped.
Yeah.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot. I would say I like adorably vulgar because the first time I met him and I asked him the same question back at Drunken Head, and I said, how would you describe your style? And he said, violently racist.
and it was, man. I had a thing for Asians and I just couldn't let it go. But I went to therapy and
you finally saw a little bit of them in yourself, and you realized that it's not your eyes, but
maybe we should just hate Indians. that's what I kind of learned.
Hilarious.
That's figured that I'm gonna have to go to therapy for that one.
I mean, we're the minority. There's a billion of them motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, if you think about it.
Yeah.
All round eyes here. It's just not gonna be working out.
When Still violently racist.
But when he saw the little bit of Asians in him, that was actually when he saw the security camera footage of his one night in Bangkok.
Good cheap town.
And
I tell you
it is.
Your American dollar goes for a long way, and those people work very hard. I'm not knocking them.
I thought you were gonna say the camera footage from him at the massage parlor.
Oh,
just a little.
I am not the owner of the New England Patriots.
So that doesn't count because he leaked it himself.
Got to get your money on the Pornhub somehow.
Yeah, screw a Yelp review. This is my
comedy
5 stars
show.
right here.
Look at this. This is the real service you're gonna get.
Yeah. We unfortunately we don't have any rub and tugs around here. And trust me, I've been looking. I have been donning the Batman detective persona, snooping out for ones that give you the ending.
Yeah.
None.
I'm not going to name names here, but told me there's a massage parlor right across the street. And he pulled out this little mini water bottle. He's like, this is how you know. They give you the mini water bottle.
Mm.
And then he unzipped his wallet and he also had 2 grams of
Ooh.
in there. And so I believed him.
Here's the thing. I almost don't even want to bleep out his actual name because half of his set is him talking about being a drug dealer. So not like I'm being. I'll bleep it out to preserve the anonymity of the establishment.
There's people who you don't want to lose anyone's job over this.
Yeah.
You know, they work.
That's Asian hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The economy's rough right now.
I would say, yeah, you got to stop that Asian hate because that's his whole shtick. Like,
Yeah, that's somewhere in that corner.
The words right out of my mouth.
Like fight stick.
Come on, you get over here. We do good. We do nails.
We do nails.
I mean, I guess if you're really looking for rub and tugs, I can tell you, shady strip clubs, always a good bet.
Oh yeah. So here in Newark, we had one strip club. Believe it or not, we used to have a strip club right downtown called Club 2K. And then when Newark really started renovating their downtown, one of the first things that, parent-teacher organizations and civil rights groups, not civil rights groups, civil not rights groups, Christians, that's where I'm getting at.
Okay.
I was trying to find some way of saying Christians. They were like, well, first thing we need to get out of here is that Club 2K. And myself and the degenerates is like, or how about all of these churches that aren't doing any kind of homeless missionary stuff when the homeless people were chilling out in front of them? So unfortunately, the strip club lost. And so the last day, and it was the only time I went there too, because like a Newark strip club, I'm like, there's no way that's safe or hygienic or anything like that. But on the final day, I was like, I'm going to go get a hand job. So,
and I know the place.
Because guess what? What are they going to do? Fire them? Exactly. So, I went there extra, $80. So I was like, I could get 3 hand jobs for Newark prices.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And then unfortunately I get there and I think the police department knew everyone was going there for hand jobs because there was like straight up just like a wall of policemen. And I was even like, all right, when are they taking the stage? Because I need to bounce. I'm not into
seeing like this is. I didn't want to mail.
I don't get me wrong. I love a good choreographed bit. I love a costume, but like, it's not
a big meat swing fan.
No. I was like roast beef, yes, but sausage, no.
You got to pick. You're not a pork guy.
Yeah. I said, fuck them pigs.
I was in like the shadiest strip club in like I think it was Maryland. Might have been Pennsylvania. I was working for a moving company. If you ever work for a moving company, like the drivers might be a little different now because this was like 12 years ago. Drivers would make way too much fucking money. I mean, and you could be, all you really had to do is have a CDL and be mildly personable and willing to do the backbreaking labor of moving furniture.
Right.
So they would get paid nicely and whatnot. And they love strip clubs. Like a good chunk of them do. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them really love strip clubs. And so we're like going through this small little town. My buddy's like, dude, this place, like Google said there's a club here. We're going. So this place is like probably like 500 people, this town. You had to buy your beer at the bar across the street, bring it over. They would charge you for your own beer. And like the dancer was getting off the stage, putting money into the jukebox and like playing music off of that and going back up. I had to help them move a couch just because it was leaking through their roof. No hand job. I was so disappointed. I know. I even got a lap dance, $60. I was like, surely, out of all the places I have been, this is where I will receive my hand job. I have been on the road for a long time. Right. No, none. These are the most upstanding dancers I'd ever met.
How dare they? How dare they?
Now, might I say this? I've never gone out in this manner and searched for a hand job.
Well, when you're in the establishment, you know what you see, and you're like, "Wow, this is the location. This is where this happens." You would think.
What takes you to that level that you want a hand job from a stranger? That's what I want to know.
Having a penis.
I've had hand
That's
jobs.
what's made me want
I
to
mean,
hand my whole life.
But paying for it.
Having money and a penis. That's it.
Am I just broke?
I mean, I guess it's the whole like you're at the strip club. You're like, well, I mean, if you're gonna work it up, you might as well finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already paying for this dance. This is just a little extra. Now, dancers, because I used to work in a strip club, dancers hate that shit. Like, if you are in a club, if you're like, let's say a dancer, and you come into a club and you're the type of person who is like, oh, I'll give a little extra love because it'll increase people's like retention. People start coming to see you more often. You're gonna make good money. If another dancer finds that out, like I've had dancers in the club beat the shit out of girls for like giving hand jobs, because then everyone else in the club assumes that that's what all the girls do,
Right?
And they're like, "Nah, that's not how we do it here." So they'll kind of self-police. So
Yeah,
generally, if it's
do.
going on, that means like everybody's doing it.
And you got the den mother too. The madam that does keep girls in mind too.
Yeah.
My ex one of my exes was a stripper. For anonymity's sake, I'm not going to say her name or the establishment, but it rhymes with meanest at Mondayvous.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm kidding. I don't remember what she said her stripper name was. Honestly, it sounded less strippery than her real Christian name.
Ironic how that works out.
Yeah. But
did you date a Vanessa?
her sister was.
Why is that such a fuckable name too? Like know. I would never name my daughter Vanessa.
Because the first word is van, and you're like, oh, we fucking vans,
Oh yeah, you keep them on.
Especially, oh yeah. I meant a fucking car. God damn it.
See, yeah, because you're creepy.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh, dude, the vehicle my parents had growing up was a '93 Ford Ecoline van, fully decked out by '93 standards. Like it had a TV in it. It had like these running lights. It had a bed in the back. This thing was a shaggin' wagon.
Those things were fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like they need to bring those things back.
That they do. Anyway, Tony, any fun strip club stories for you?
Not really, bro. I drove to Cedar Point and we got drunk all night. I got up, slept from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m., drove 3 hours to Cedar Point, was doing like Fireball on the way there.
Mm-hmm.
I get there, we get on the corkscrew, and I immediately like get fucking whiplash, headache, worst fucking hangover ever. And so I just spent 8 hours in Cedar Point at the car while they had fun. We leave Cedar Point and they're all fucking hammered and they stop. I tell them there's a strip club by my dad's house in Norwalk. And I tell them there's a strip club right here. And they fucking pulled in and they went in there for 20, 30 minutes, did whatever they did, came back out, and then I drove us back.
You didn't even go in?
I didn't even go in. That's my only strip club story.
Tony, you and I, Steve, me, we're going to one.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's gonna be a real low point in my life.
Yeah, but it's a necessary one.
And hey, it could be worse. It could be. Actually, no. You're with both of us. No, actually, no. You're right. That's rock bottom.
It's gonna be creepy at best.
Yeah,
and like that's what you want. Like you have to go. Like for me, like dude, I used to go to a bunch of them in Fort Wayne, and if you've ever been to Fort Wayne, you know that the strip clubs are as part of the culture as the bars.
Yeah.
So if you go bar hopping in that town, you're going to end up more than likely in a strip club, just because there's like 7 of them. But we discovered these are the best places to be like super baked. Like if you're really high, it's like, well, the lighting's low enough that no one in here can really tell. Plus, no one really cares. Yeah. And like it's loud enough and they're playing aggressive enough music that I kind of like. And then occasionally you're like, oh, titty. It was made for a nice place to be very violently high.
Yeah. Tony, let me pitch the idea of strip clubs to you. Okay. So, all right, my first experience with one was actually, as I told you, February 24th, 2018 is when I started stand-up. About 2 months later, I had done 4 open mics by that point, and I had crushed all of them. So I'm like, I'm taking this shit on the road. I'm gone, you know? And so 2 of my buddies and I, we do like a big long loop through Pennsylvania, basically. So we hit Pittsburgh, long drive to Philly, went up to Boston, then up to Albany, and then we were in Buffalo. And when we were in Buffalo, we decided, you know what, let's we were asking around, and all 3 of us had apparently never been to a strip club. So we're like, you know what, fuck it, today's the day. And so I Google, you know, gentlemen's clubs in the area. And first off, one of my favorite things to do anytime I go to a new city is I just look up the reviews of strip clubs. The one we ended up going to is called the Colony Lounge, which they love. We picked that one because it was the one that actively said we allow you to smoke cigars inside. And one of my buddies, he's like a big cigar guy. So we look, and one of the best ones was a 5-star review, 3 words: "My crank hurts." So I was like, this is our place right here.
That's the ticket. Yeah. You also have to, like, if you're like Texas, I will say I went to this one in Texas where it wasn't creepy. It was more like there was a 30-foot pole and they're doing like aerobatics on it. And you're like, this is an actual like really entertaining show. You're like,
this is the closest I'm going to get to being sold. This is an acrobatic performance.
Yeah,
like,
if you get to like an actual nice strip club where it's like a gentleman's club, like.
The Tony Hook is coming up next, but so we go into the place and we get there at like 9:45, which is like the opening of strip club, basically.
Yeah.
So we're there and it's dead, and there's one stripper on the pole, and "Scars" by Papa Roach is playing, which already I'm like, this is my aesthetic of like a dead strip club. Tear my heart open.
Like her dad was not nice to her.
and the one on the pole was clearly the veteran of the establishment. Her name was Natasha. Found out she was 41 years old.
Wow.
So again, right up your wheelhouse. And
a little young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just qualify for an AARP card.
Yeah. And so we get there and, you know, we're at the bar the whole time, and one of my friends, he was like he was the only virgin, like literal virgin of the group. So we really wanted him to get the biggest experience of this. Of the 3 of us, I was the bigger degenerate. I was having the time of my life in there. And so we're trying to get the virgin, like his lap dance. We're like, dude, we'll pay you. I will buy you as an early birthday gift your private dance. And by the way, $22 for a private dance at this place. Very economic.
Wow, they're considerate.
Yes. Well, also, I found out that the Buffalo strip clubs too, they have to be a little more competitive because they're right next to Canada, where prostitution is legal. So they know they kind of do have to bring a game if they want to keep people in the country.
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah,
I'm not allowed in Canada.
And
interesting.
We will circle back to that. I want to hear that. So anyway, finally, my friend, like he keeps passing it up. She's even like, "Come on, let me dance for you." And after like the 5th time he says no, I'm like, "Fuck it, God damn it, Cam, you suck." And then I take her to the private room as well. And so I'm there. Now here's the thing: I had heard, you know, you're not allowed to obviously touch them. So, you know, I have my hands on the arms like a gentleman. And at some point she's even like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Enjoying your work."
Yeah, like, what are you saying? That like,
yeah,
just chilling, dude.
Yeah. And then she grabs both my wrists and just puts them right on her tits. And I was like,
classic.
I like this place.
Absolutely classic.
I like this place. And then at one point I'm referencing another comics bit almost at this point, but I then get a snail trail. She just does like a backflip up on me, and basically, like, before I even had time to react, all of a sudden, just right on my face.
Like her bear.
Still had the G string, but
it's
the smell was there.
It's just lace.
Yeah, a very thin layer of lace separating, and also This was stop number 5 on this sausage broad trip that I had been on. Dude, that smell, like I about dislocated her jaw. Like just fine. So yeah, we're gonna go to Buffalo. We're gonna take
So it's economical.
Natasha might still be there. Which by the way, also I love that her stripper name is so uninspired. Like this almost could be your real name. Like I like it.
There's a couple dancers I worked with who just that's what they use. They use their real name.
There was one called Lolita, which was very fitting because she was so very clearly underage.
Oh my god! I was gonna be like, where are we going with this? That's sad.
Well, the girl I lost my virginity to did tell me the story before. She told me 2 stories that terrified my penis. But obviously, I like an American hero, I soldiered on, right?
Yeah, congratulations, thank you.
Yes,
viewers at home are gonna love.
Thank you for the service. Yeah. But no, when she was 15 and a half, so basically when she got her learner's permit, she would sneak out and work a job as a stripper in West Virginia. In like the holler though. So 15 and a half is like their
35.
Is like, yeah.
You're why aren't you married yet?
Exactly. It was like, holy shit, your hips ain't blown out yet. What are you doing here?
Well, yeah, come on. I mean, put that in perspective though. There's also there's a Motley Crue lyric that literally goes, "She's only 15, but she's the reason that I can't sleep. You say you're legal. I say legal's never been my thing." Completely gets glossed over.
Wow.
The Dirt was a huge success.
Yeah.
Still touring.
Still. Wow. That is not a Dr. Feel Good story.
No. Thanks, Nikki Sixx. We now know.
Yeah.
Nikki Stick.
He's like 6. Well, I mean, 15 will work.
So yeah, that's actually, we're going to cut this right here. We're going to stop it here. Any shows you want to plug, and then we're heading to strip club.
All right, cool.
Screw the attic.
You're done with it. You don't need to go there. People it's fine.
Tell one joke. One joke versus a 40-year-old snail trail. Come on. Choice is obvious.
Actually,
hold on. She'd be 45 now, so
that's
even,
right.
It's more better.
If I wanted a 45-year-old snail trail, I'd just hit up Zach Harley's mother.
Ooh!
I ain't gonna say no. No. I busted that dude's balls the first time I met him. I was like, "Your mom's kind of hot." He's like, "Shut up." Yeah, I think it's kind of hot.
See that? That's just God talking to you.
God did.
She's gonna hate that I said that.
Yeah. Actually, so it's funny you bring him up because at one of the Mima's houses, I hadn't seen you in like months, and I hadn't seen you since you cut off your hair, and like. When I saw you there, and like we're even like talking and cutting up backstage, even though in my head I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And I just straight up didn't recognize you. And then all of a sudden I saw Zach Harley. He popped in for some reason, and I was like, oh, this must be Zach's brother. Okay,
that's terrible. That is awful.
They have the same smile.
I mean, that dude gets more play than I did, so I'll take it.
Yeah, the only play Zach gets is on his old radio station.
Oh,
Zach knows I love him. He knows I love him.
I'll bring you. Hey, if I get him on the podcast, I'll bring you back and we'll have like a 10-minute roast battle.
Okay.
He is fun to like poke jabs at, but he can give them back.
Yeah, like I want him on the podcast. I just know his schedule's not exactly lines up with mine, given that he's a third shifter.
Not anymore.
Oh, he's not?
No, yeah, he substitute teaches.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
So yeah, get up the board.
Then, yeah, I'll have him out here.
He's gonna do the end of the month thing I have back in Montezuma, back home. Him and Caitlin are.
Oh, okay.
It's like they're doing like it's a bar called Shingle Shack Pub. It's in Montezuma. They're doing I want to do like a comedy night. I think it's mostly like us 3 do a little bit of material, and then they want to like open it up like, hey, do you guys want to try? Like let other people see what they see what they can do.
Because speaking of all those names, you're a sketch group with them, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the name of that?
Artificial Idiocy.
Nice. So yeah, what date is that show?
That's the 26th.
26th of January.
Last Friday of January.
Okay, nice. We'll circle back to that one too.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of circling back,
Canada.
why aren't you allowed back in Canada?
I've been there once, and I went to Windsor.
Mhm.
I was like 8. I didn't do anything then. It's really not a good story. So I got a DUI. Now, most people are under the impression like, that's only a 10-year ban or a 7-year ban because that was the rule. However, once Canada made cannabis legal, they said, hey, we're going to give you pot, but if we find out that you've been driving intoxicated at any level, it's now a felon. So in Canada's eyes, I am a felon. So anyone who has a DUI, Canada is like a no-go. You can't go there.
Oh wow. I'm a big Kyle Kinane fan, and he tells in one of his specials about getting kicked out of Canada because once he was already there, and I think it was even like a layover flight, but once their records even showed that, hey, we have a guy in Canada had a DUI. He tells, and it's a great bit too, but he talks about once again getting kicked out because they really they take that shit seriously.
Yeah, they really don't fuck with it. Like apparently Canadian border security is kind of wild. I have a lot of friends who are like fishing and hunting and whatnot, and they'll go up along the border and do some fishing. And my one buddy's like, "Yeah, I'm just out in the boat or whatever, just throwing, kind of moving around." He goes, "I've been in this spot for about 20 minutes, and all of a sudden these Canadians roll up on me." He's like, "Can I help you guys?" He's like, "Do you know where you are?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm in this such a lake." He's like, "Yeah, but you're on the Canadian side now. You can't fish here." He's like, "Oh, I didn't even know." He's like, "Yeah, you're only like a couple 100 yards in, but you got to go
100 yards.
Way. Yeah,
the other way. Yeah.
So I haven't tried it since.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like outside of like the opportunity to do some of the festivals up there, which would be really cool.
Yeah,
I'm not really
right. So my first like real killer set ever was at the Yuck Yucks in Toronto. And I went up also 2018. This was like in maybe July at this point. Cause I was like purposely like, hey, if I'm going to Canada, I'm only going in summer. And it was my first time going on such a long trip by myself. And I get, to the Detroit Windsor border and I get across into the Canada side. And he couldn't have been more Canadian, first off, with the accent and everything. And then he just, in the most Canadian way, politely fucked with me so hard the entire time. Like every question he had, and you could tell he was like clearly making up questions to make it sound like, oh, we're arresting you now kind of thing.
fun.
Yeah. He was such a dick. But the thing is, he was Canadian, so he did it in such a nice way. But he finally let me through. And I think at one point when he asked me, like, why I was there, I was like visiting with a family friend, also doing stand-up comedy. He's like, oh, stand-up, where are you performing stand-up? And he's like, at the Yuck Yucks. And he's like, oh, so you must be a pretty big deal. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I crushed the last like 6 open mics. I'm kind of I'm kind of talking down around here. Yeah. And then he was even like, you opening for anybody? And at this point, I'm like, this conversation shouldn't have gone on this long. And I was like, no, I'm just I'm featured on lineup. I don't know who else is on the show. And then and all of a sudden he mentioned somebody's name, and I'm like, can we fucking go? Like, I want to get across. I was like, I gotta pee.
Was he trying to discern whether or not you were going to make money?
I think so. And then he asked how much money I was bringing in, which that actually is a fairly standard question. And then he asked, and then he did finally ask me. He's like, "Are you gonna be making a lot of money at this event?" It's like, no, it's a open mic, just more prestigious. And he was even like, okay, and then let me through finally. And then the moment I cross over, I kind of forgot that I lose all cell service, so I had no way of like communicating back home.
Fuck. Yeah, because you got to get the international flight.
Yeah. And I didn't. I let's put it this way. Actually, I thought I already had it. And then as soon as I get over there, I tried messaging the guy I'm staying with, and it wouldn't go through at all. I had to wait till I got maybe an hour into the country, and I finally pull off at Tim Hortons, which, by the way, they really are fucking everywhere.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And so that's my thing. Anytime I needed to communicate with people, I would find the nearest Tim Hortons and I'd use their free Wi-Fi. And that was my only way of communicating back with the States. And at the time, I had just started dating my stripper ex-girlfriend.
That's great.
And my first thought was, oh, she's going to think I ghosted her. I was like, this one's actually hot. I can't mess this one up. I can't go back to dating the rest of the Newark, Ohio girls.
I like how your threshold for like good relationship is she's just hot.
Yeah.
Like, she's not a great person, doesn't have necessarily the best sense of humor, but you know, she's super hot.
Yes, no, exactly. I was like, this one's different from my others.
She's actually hot.
Yeah, like I genuinely want to fuck her. Like,
these other people were just too good of people.
Right. But anyway, yeah.
That puts a big fucking ribbon on this whole episode, dude. Comedy, strippers, and the strip club.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. My first ever like good 5-minute clip that I would like send to bookers was a bit where I did talk about her being a stripper. And let's put it this way, I knew her sisters knew. So then I thought her whole family knew. So I was like, oh, this is just public knowledge. I can joke about it on stage. And I even asked her, can I do these jokes? And she's like, yeah, sure. So I do it. And then I then just put that video up on YouTube as a way of like, okay, well, hey, now like it's good for bookers. That way I can just send a YouTube link and also people will like it, subscribe, all that shit. And then I get a very angry phone call from her that one of her family members searched my YouTube for stand-up clips, and that's the first one she saw. And apparently, not all of her family knew she was a stripper, and it caused a whole lot of controversy. So I then took it down, and then it took me 3.5 years of getting another halfway decent video clip. Because then from that moment on, anytime I had my camera recording, mediocre set, or I would actually bomb. No killer sets, except for the couple times the camera wasn't rolling, and then I killed so fucking hard.
Yeah, it's the bane of my existence. I did an open mic, and it was like Zach who was like yelling at me, like, "Dude, you need to get more clips. You need to like record more often." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." And so I was going up at Summit City. Usually a great crowd. It's a good club if you've ever been there. If you haven't, like, check it out. But I go up and I'm like, okay, I had a couple new jokes I was going to work on. Tight front crowd. I go to hit record, walk up. Set goes fucking great. New jokes kill. Come off. I'm like, fuck, I got my reels here. I got my TikToks. Motherfucker, this is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I just took a picture.
Mm. But
yeah, that's a good sandwich.
We'll clip this part out. Yeah,
I was gonna just let you chew.
That's the whole strategy. Is I can sense when a guest is going to go on a nice long walk of a story, and then I'm like, okay, this is my time. I can.
Yeah, immediately I look at him and he starts going into that sandwich.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Steve's talking. All right, I got about 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'd say Tony, I got to watch out for every now and then because he might just clip one randomly, maybe even do it on purpose. He sees I take like a nice long bite and then he just like wraps it up real quick and then there's like this nice awkward silence.
Turns the video into ASMR.
Yeah.
Somebody got a picture of me last night hitting it's a bong, but it's a big black cock. And so I was smoking the cock.
Yeah.
And somebody got a picture of me. My lips looked real puckered.
Mm-hmm.
So
real power. Yeah. Like you got like the lines for like showing it was like real power.
And you can tell the lips were like sort of pursed around it.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very,
very erotic.
Kind of.
That sounds hot.
Hey, nothing wrong with a good tip kiss, you know.
Like now you got me thinking.
Just the tip.
Yeah.
How much?
20.
Sweet. Got it. I got $20.
The only thing I want to plug.
Euros.
Ooh, all right. Hey, now. I mean, you're playing a little bit with fire, but you didn't say pounds, so I guess we'll make it work.
Oh, yeah. Well, the pound comes later.
For a few more.
Yeah.
I get why, like, I've heard so many comics say, like, oh, just quit.
Yeah.
I completely get it because it will ruin your life.
Yeah. As somebody that's, again, on a somewhat hiatus right now, I was burning the candle at both ends there for the solid part of a year. And then just again seeing, didn't get as far as I'd wanted, letting other people down, all that kind of shit. So yeah, I just had to take a couple months off, refuel a little bit. Also play the new Spider-Man 2. That's what really kicked it off. I was like, all right, we're gonna get through this one show, and then I'm gonna commit a whole week to Spider-Man 2.
I wonder how, like, when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, I wonder how many great comedians we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm hanging it up, boys.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way: we may actually lose like one or two great. We'll lose a couple mediocre.
Yeah, the mid's gonna clear.
The mid card will clear out. Yes,
and that's where I'll come in.
That's right.
Right in the mid card.
Yeah.
Yep. Come in right there.
Yeah. So anyway, I also could have mentioned this a lot earlier in the show, but this being the first episode of the new year, gentlemen, do you have any big plans for the year? What are you trying to manifest out there for 2024?
I'll let you take that one, Toe.
I mean, I'm gonna keep taking every opportunity that comes my way. Keep working, keep going out, baby. Keep doing what I can. Take it as far as it'll go.
Hell yeah.
So this year, like, I kind of I would like to start a podcast because there's not enough of those.
No.
So I too want to get into that game. So that's kind of like this year's kind of, I'm like, okay, continue obviously writing and stuff like that, but I want to try to do a few different avenues, do a little bit more sketch, maybe even like film sketch and stuff like that. Yeah. So I got some ideas kind of rolling around. That's kind of where my whole goal is. And then not 100% sure, barring a few different things, that might be looking at a move.
Oh yeah. I'll say, as far as the producer side of me, will be probably the bigger pivot. As far as a stand-up performer, obviously, yeah, someone hits me up for a gig, I'll take it. I've upped my price a little bit. Again, that's with the hiatus too. It's like, it got to the point I was doing it and I wasn't loving it anymore. And I was like, no, I'm going to do the shows I want to do. And then if not, I'm upping the price a little bit. But no, producing, I'm not going to do as many like stand-up shows. Like if I'm producing something, it's going to be either like a roast or something a little more specialist. Also, I am working on a film script as well. So be doing that as well.
That would be fun.
Actually, well, I actually have two. One I've been working on for fucking like 3 years. And then I had to do a rewrite once I realized that superheroes are on their way out.
Yeah.
And also, it would have been very boys-esque too. So I gave it a really solid rewrite recently, and I've brought it down to earth a little bit, I guess you should say. Other one I wrote just a nice, funny indie comedy. It's also a holiday movie. So yeah,
that's what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to get into like writing scripts. I've always I've been a big fan of movies, so I'd be like, just to kind of come up with a story and write like a screenplay would be a lot of fun.
Right. So yeah, that's the plan for the year. And then apart from producing, doing stand-up, my next biggest goal is just getting Tony into a strip club.
That's what I think we really need to focus on.
I mean, goals are different. I don't have any plans. I have a lot of goals. I don't have any plans.
No, right.
I have plans. I can get you into a strip club.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to pay for me, I'll go to the strip club. Put that on the table.
Ollie, you want me to finance your whole evening?
Somebody has to. Look at me. Look at my skin.
I will pay for one private dance.
Yeah, I will pay your cover, and I will buy you a dance and a drink.
Okay, well, somebody gets my dance, somebody gets my cover and my drinks, and then we'll be a big happy family.
I'm not getting all your drinks, though.
I'm not drinking that much. I'm a lightweight.
All right.
All right, so we have a plan.
We do.
So we're going to stop this podcast right now, and we're going to go to the strip club. So before we go, thank you again for coming out, by the way. And tell the people where they can follow you. Any shows you got coming up in like the next like week or so.
I'm going to be at the Shingle Shack in Montezuma for that comedy night they're having. I'm going to be with Caitlin Bonoski and Zach Harley. That's going to be a lot of fun. Excited about that. Other than that, I got some stuff in the works for February and March, so we're going to see how that shakes out. You can follow me at That Kid Named Steve on Instagram. You can hit me up on Facebook at Stephen Hinkle and on TikTok at Dyslexic Steve. So Or it might be dyslexic Steven. I don't know. I'll give you the link in the comments.
Well, I mean, if you typed it, Lord knows what the fuck it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough there.
But yeah, man, the only thing I really want to plug is, speaking of Canada, the Justin Trudeau being Castro's son conspiracy theory. I'd like to plug that.
Okay.
I mean, I think you should really check that out because some of the pictures are damning.
Yeah.
I'm on a Date Columbus show. It's like a singles event at the Key, February 15th.
Okay.
And you can find me on Instagram at Why Not Wallace. Tony backwards. Why Not Wallace.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. And let's get stripping.
All right. Thanks,
for
man.
having me.